Everyone, welcome back to my channel where I talk about anything beauty, lifestyle, or motivational. Today I'm gonna talk about how you can set goals and achieve them. My name is Martina. Keep on watching. First of all, disclaimer, I did not invent any of these steps. I just like to try out a bunch of things. I like to test things that works, what doesn't work. And in my experience, what I'm about to talk about are the steps that work for me. Okay? I cannot confirm if it will work for you, but this is how I do stuff, and so far it keeps on working, so I decided to share them today. So here we go. First, think about why you want to achieve a specific thing. If we take an example, like you don't have a car and you want to get a car. Why? The situation can be different for everyone. Is it because all your friends are having cars and you kind of feel like you need to have one too? Is it because your family really needs it? Why? Because anything you're about to achieve, it will require you to make certain sacrifices, to go to certain changes, it will require you to go through a few bad period before you achieve it. So the first thing I always do is think about why. For example, if I was living in a town like New York, I would never get a car. Why? Because everything is kind of close and the town is always, there's a lot of traffic. I would not bother myself having a car because I won't want to deal with the insurance and then the inconvenience, never find parking, but if, for example, I had family members that needed to use this car, I was, for example, in a town like everything is far, I need to see the real need for whatever I need to achieve. Is it really necessary? Second, I like to write down everything that I want to achieve. It's probably not mandatory to do that for everyone, but to me, when I write down stuff, it makes me feel like it's no longer, the idea is no longer in my head. It's like 10% materialized because I can see it somewhere, I can see it somewhere. I can start overthinking about it. Writing down stuff is a visual reminder of what's important for me to achieve. Everything that you need to achieve in life requires you to make certain sacrifices. Whether is economic sacrifice, like maybe you would probably need to do more savings, or maybe it's your time. You have to dedicate less time in this activity and more time in start to work on what you want to achieve. It will require you to make certain sacrifices. So at this step, I like to identify what is it that I'm willing to sacrifice to achieve this. Fourth, be private. Not everyone needs to know what you're working on, what are your plans, what you're trying to achieve. At the beginning stages, everything is too fresh, too sensitive to share it anyway. Sometimes you're not even completely sure if you can achieve it or not. So I think it's very important to only share with people that you are, close to 100% sure that this person always wants what's best for you, or maybe this person will be able to work with you to achieve whatever you want to achieve. It's very, very, very important. Sometimes we don't always know people's real intentions, or sometimes we don't really know how people really feel about us. If that person doesn't want the best for us, this person can easily, discourage you. Some people can love you, but they are naturally a little bit negative. So when you share certain plans with them, they immediately go to the negative side of it and kind of discourage you. Some people are just bad people. They want you to fail. Learn to set healthy boundaries with loved ones. Maybe in the past you had more time, to go out, you had more money to spend when you go out with your friends, with your family. But once you decide to achieve certain goals, once you decide to work on certain things, immediately you do not have enough to allocate to those activities, you're not that available. Learn to set healthy boundaries. This happened to me in the past when I was, trying to build my little apartment in Haiti. I suddenly didn't have enough money to even go out and buy one glass of wine. I really didn't have it. I didn't have extra gas, and gas wasn't even that expensive, but based on the my budget, how it was so tight, I really couldn't allocate anything more. And it was difficult for some people to understand that I really don't have like $5 or $10 extra to put in certain activities anymore. People kind of thought maybe I just didn't want it to hang out with them anymore. Sometimes it's like it's difficult for people to get it, especially if you're trying to not tell them too much about your plan. So yes, people can see it the wrong way, but after a while, when they start to see what you achieve, then they can be like, all right, I see why she was, she didn't have time anymore. It wasn't personal, it was just, okay, she was working on something. Be realistic. Do you really have the resources, the appropriate resources, to achieve whichever goal you're trying to achieve? If you're really trying to buy a house, for example, do you really need a big house? Do you really, I like to refrain from living for others too much, from living from others, other people's judgments. I like to take people's comments into consideration at like 40-45%. But I'm gonna try to stay realistic. Like, I'm gonna think about if I really achieve that goal, like, how would it affect me? How would it affect me in the future? Will I be able to keep up with the expenses? Like, how is it gonna affect my life? Am I ready for this? It's very important to be realistic and think for yourself in your specific situation. Avoid distractions. Once you start working on something new, it's very important to stay focused. Avoid distractions. Nowadays, there are so many things that can easily distract you, especially with social media, with your phone that is always on, like, with you. Like, everything and everyone is so accessible. Like, you're so accessible to everything so fast. Like, the notification is like bing, bang, bang, bang. It's always something trying to grab your attention everywhere. try to, whatever you need to reset, whatever adjustment you need to do, it's very important to stay focused. It's difficult to achieve anything worthwhile if you're not focusing on what you're doing, even for a while, even for a time period while you're working on whatever goal you're working on. Try to stay focused. For the phone, if you have to, turn off notifications at certain times for you to be more focused, whatever you need to do that if you're really serious about achieving that goal. Don't get discouraged when you find bumps on the road. It's normal. We all go through many failures. Nobody just, start doing amazing stuff without failing. This doesn't exist. And I think this is what makes me more comfortable trying new stuff, because I know it's not just me. People just don't share their failures that much. They don't really talk about it, but everybody fail. Like, even if you look at the little kid, they don't start walking like one day like that. They stand up and they drop down. They stand up and then they fall. They stand up, they fall. They try to hold on to stuff. They try to hold on to, but they try again. They try again until they get it. But for some reason, when we are adults, we kind of assume that we should achieve everything from one go. If we don't, like, we are so ashamed what people is gonna think about us. It's way too much stress, unnecessary stress. It's normal to fail, because once you start like trying something new, you have to fail a little bit. So keep on trying, keep on researching. Sometimes it's probably required for you to get a mentor, maybe someone that went through the same thing you're trying to achieve. Ask questions, try this, try that. Eventually you will get there. I kind of touch up on this point with my previous comment. Reach out. Feel free to reach out to people that can assist you a little bit, that can make the process a little bit easier for you. Like, nothing on this earth is completely new for everyone. Someone has gone through whatever you're going through before. Ask question here and there. Sometimes it's random people, like pure strangers. You can be sitting somewhere and you start a conversation, and randomly the person starts talking to you about whatever happened to them. Sometimes people who went through the same path as you are not completely comfortable seeing you, move a little bit, further than them, for whichever reason. Maybe something had happened in their lives and they are a little bit stagnating. Even though it's not your fault, it's normal for them to feel that way. So, look out for people who can help you. Like I said, sometimes it's random people, go through them. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Sometimes people will nicely just say random stuff. It's crazy. Like, you can find, if you really want to find something in life, don't be afraid to ask for it. Especially information, you will find this person that can help you. Last one that is very important for me is to try to stay healthy. The mind is connected to the body, and you cannot focus, you cannot do well, you cannot work well, you cannot think well if you're not taking care of yourself. It's one doesn't work without the other. Okay, so I know, again, this is something that is not gonna be that easy to do for some people. All that matters is to do what you can. You buy a little vitamin, you eat a little bit better if you can, you eat a little less fast food, you rest a little bit more at anything that is not necessary, don't do it. Like if you were spending 2 hours on social media watching TV, maybe you can do 1 hour now and rest a little bit more. Take care of your body, take care of yourself, and the mind will reward you. All right, this is all I have for you today. The steps I use to achieve my goals, and so far it has been working for me. Hopefully it works for you too. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.